Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the greatest recordings ever. And today we're talking about Bartók's Concerto for Orchestra, one of the most remarkable pieces of music written in the 20th century because, well, just think about it. I mean, he wrote it in like 1945-ish, and it immediately became part of the general repertoire, and it's been there ever since. That's kind of amazing. You know, you just write something and poof, it becomes a repertory staple. And it's been recorded by like all the major conductors, and particularly the Hungarian ones. But like most of Bartók's work, he had trouble with the ending. There's so many of his pieces anyway. He really did. When you think about it, the violin concerto, I think the first piano concerto, a whole bunch of pieces have alternate endings because he wasn't quite sure how to stop once he got going. There are some composers who had this problem. We've talked about it before. Sibelius being first among equals, possibly. You know, how to do an ending? Well, you know, Bartók figured it out, of course. But the Concerto for Orchestra is simply splendid. It's really a symphony in 5 movements, although Bartók at that point, and so many composers in the sort of post-World War I generation had problems claiming things that were symphonic were really symphonies because of the way that they were sort of reared to judge the medium. So they called them other things, music for strings, percussion, and celesta. Boy, is that a 4-movement symphony if ever there was one. Anyway, the Concerto for Orchestra is glorious and the greatest recording ever made of anything. Forget the Concerto for Orchestra. One of the greatest recordings ever made is Rafael Kubelik's with the Boston Symphony. Now, I have it. It's here in this enormous Kubelik box. And that's really irritating. It's been reissued like a zillion times. It originally came out all by itself on a very nice album, which I see listed here at Amazon. Get this. I just had to mention this. The LP is back. And Amazon wants you to pay $208. Wait a minute. Let me get the exact number. $208, yes, for this LP. And you can get it on the installment plan on 6 handy, convenient payments of $35.86 per month for 6 months. Can you believe that? I mean, that just blows my mind. It really does. I'm really thinking of starting a finance company for LPs. You can put a mortgage. We can get a title lien, like a car, on your LP of the Kubelik Bartók Concerto for Orchestra and collect interest payments. I mean, it's just diseased. It's absolutely nuts. But anyway, there it is on Amazon. But the LP was originally by itself, as I said. Then it came out on CD by itself. And then it was coupled to the Ozawa suite from the Miraculous Mandarin. And then it was coupled again to the Karajan, I believe, music for strings, percussion, and celesta. And then it was on Eloquence for a while. And then Pentatone got its talons on it and reissued it that way with the Miraculous Mandarin thing. And now it's in this enormous box. So it's floating around. You should be able to find it without too much difficulty. I see that Presto Music has that mid-price reissue. So you can get it easily enough. But, it's an incredible performance. And what makes it so incredible? Well, first of all, Kubelik had a real affinity for the work. He recorded it at least 3 times. There was an earlier, I believe, EMI recording of it. And then there's this one. And then was a live one that came out on Orfeo, coupled with the music for strings, percussion, and celesta, which was also one of his signature pieces. He recorded that one, you may recall, for Mercury Living Presence in mono, way back at the dawn of time, the dawn of the LP era, with the Chicago Symphony. So Kubelik and Bartók are a known quantity. That's number one. Number two, the Boston Symphony and Bartók are a known quantity. Why? Because Koussevitzky was one of the people who commissioned the work. And he made, I believe, what was the very first recording of it, or there is a recording of it, of an early performance with the original rather unsatisfying and abrupt ending. But it made it onto disc very, very quickly. And so the Boston Symphony has as much provenance of this particular work as it's possible to have. Seiji Ozawa also recorded it with the Boston Symphony with the original ending. It's a live recording. It's not so swell. It was on Philips. We could forget about it. But wow, What a splendid performance this Kubelik version is. Everything about it. First of all, the sonics are gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Kubelik's Boston recordings, there are only a couple. There's Ma Vlast, then there's this, but they were beautifully recorded. This one particularly, right from the very opening, when the trumpets come in with the da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da, the main theme of the first movement, and there's a velvety darkness and atmosphere and a total legato to the trumpet playing that's extraordinary. And that's how the whole performance goes. From there on, it's incredible. The transparency is fabulous. At the beginning of the finale, when the strings are going, they're all rushing along, there's actually like a horn arpeggio thing, like the beginning of Das Rheingold, sort of behind it. Bwomp, 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 bwomp. You never hear it. Never, ever. Here you hear it. Comes right through. It's really incredible just how texturally aware Kubelik and the Boston players are. And so the whole performance is stunning from first note to last, and it's wonderfully well recorded. And I just can't imagine anybody not suggesting that this is not one of the greatest recordings ever. Really. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.